Hi, I'm Anna, and you're listening to Athena's Life Podcast. Hey. Welcome to episode 9. First of all, I want to apologize. This episode is coming out 2 days late. I have my reason. The app that I am using to record has decided to be extremely finicky, and some of my settings moved, and as I kept on trying to change and record, some of my tracks got deleted. This is the 4th time I'm recording this. I am really hoping this is gonna work. And if not, I will put this version out there and we'll see what happens. Today I wanted to talk to you about happiness. More like my version of happiness. I have kind of a, let's say, interesting relationship with happiness in general. I've always been the person that says that before happy, I desire to find peace. With time, I learned that happiness comes and goes, but being at peace with yourself fully was my definition of happy. In that way, I mean that I never wanted to run after the extreme feeling of overwhelming happiness, because I felt like it was not real, like it was just chasing after wind. I believe that peace is my definition of happy. And by peace, I mean embracing your past, your present, and your future self. To be at peace with your path, to accept your light and your dark, your flows and glimpses of perfection. But this does not mean I cannot celebrate moments of pure bliss and joy, and that I do not wish to be happy. Happiness as we know it is a concept that has been formed and shaped by the people who came before us. And if there's one thing that I want to address, is that they had no idea whatever the fuck they were doing. Really. I say this without pretension, but the people before us, the adults in our life when we were kids, have no fucking idea how to be happy. They have no idea how to find perfect happiness, because if they did, we would be very different people. But they don't. We spend our childhood being lied to. We are taught how to live, how to do things, how to search whatever, like what we're supposed to go for. The things we're supposed to do in life, and all of this rounded path of go to school, get a job, get a wife, get kids, retire, die. Is that really happiness? To be honest, I look at this version of life and I don't like it. I don't like it, and I believe the adults have lied to us. They have lied in so many ways, where they keep on saying that they know what they're doing, or that they know because they're the adults, and because they're the adults, they know better. But as I'm growing up and I'm actually making friends with adults who are adulting, I believe no one has a single idea what the fuck they're doing. Really. I could talk with someone who's 40 or 50 and they'd be like, I still have no idea what the fuck I'm doing and I'm kind of scared. And it would be the exact same words I would hear from a 16 to a 17-year-old about to get into adulthood. No one has an idea of what the fuck they're doing. No one. And whoever claims so is full of bullshit and is trying to make you eat and swallow their ideas of their perfect life, which might not be yours. Because to be fair, these ideas that they've had came from experiences and wishes from their own self and not from you. No one is truly capable of telling you, okay, this is how you're going to be happy. This is the life path that you're going to choose. At this age, you're going to do this. At this time, you're going to do this. No one knows. And we're all lost. Like, completely lost. As someone close to me has said a few times, the concept of life is fuck around and find out. And I think they're right when they say that. Fuck around and find out. So, happiness on my own side and the way that I'm going to describe it might not be happiness for you. It might not. For you, happiness might be a totally different thing. But I cannot know what you have in your mind, and this podcast is literally you guys hearing my inside thoughts on a lot of dumb shit. So, here we go. I've always preferred peace over happiness. Yeah. But lately I've been trying to seek the ways in which I'm happy. Because now that I'm low-key half and half, maybe at peace with myself, what do I do from there? What am I supposed to do? Do I just sit here in contempt and wait until the hour arrives? Or I don't know. I have no idea, to be fair. But in the past week or so, I have thought about those little moments where I feel extremely happy and joyful. And I'm starting to think that these moments, these teeny tiny moments, are actually my definition of happiness. Happiness comes and goes and it will not always be there. You cannot forever be happy. That's not possible. That's not even human. And if you're forever happy, then how do you know you're happy? I think my definition of happiness, or at least the one that I wish to follow, is one that includes the dark and the struggles and me breaking down at some point. Because that makes me love more and more the teeny tiny moments of happiness. So I've decided to list to you guys a few moments of my happiness in the past week. So this is Happiness 2.0. One of the happiest moments I've had this week was, and don't laugh at me please, baking an apple pie. I had some apples in my fridge and I had no idea what to do with them. I was kind of clueless on what to do and I didn't want to eat them like that, so I thought about making something with them. And there came the idea of making an apple pie. There's one thing you need to know about apple pies. Apple pies for me used to be a fear food. As someone who grew up with 2 eating disorders, apple pies were scary. They were often linked to my mother, who I would see from afar making them for when people would come over. I knew that they weren't to be touched, that an apple pie meant sugar, and that sugar meant, well, getting fat, that sugar meant horrible things and death. Anyways, apple pies were scary. But I loved them. I truly loved the taste of them. And so, in the middle of the night, I called a few friends. I went to the store, and I baked an apple pie. It took me 2 hours, and I spent at least half of that placing every apple slice on the pie for it to look absolutely perfect. It was quite therapeutic. It was a therapeutic moment, and everybody was quite impressed with the results. It smelled so good. My entire kitchen smelled of apples, and of cinnamon too. And I ate it. I ate apple pie at 1 a.m. with no remorse whatsoever, and it felt so good. I laughed and did a little victory dance when it came out. And I truly believe that living alone has made me appreciate the little moments like that. The reclaiming of life through apple pies or cinnamon hot chocolates in the middle of the night. Of teeny tiny things that I now do without remorse or without thinking back. How I actually quite enjoy certain things where nobody's looking, and nobody's there to judge me or tell me off for them. Another thing I've thought was quite funny was that I started listening to love songs. I love love songs, but too often I believe we sing them to affirm ourselves against someone else, or for someone else. I mean, they're kind of made for that, so obviously that's how we do it, but I have a crazy theory. What if we sang these songs, but we aimed them at ourselves? Lately, I've been asking around what are people's favorite love songs, and I have been collecting them in a playlist. Now, every time I want to let some steam off, I play this playlist and I scream the lyrics like a madman. But I do not aim these lyrics to others. No. I aim them at my own self. I scream love songs to my past self, to my demons and my lingering pain. I've also tried to do that with breakup songs too. I shout love songs to all of the versions of myself. I let them know that they're loved, they're sexy, they're hot, they're deserving, and they're unconditionally cared for. I scream these love songs to remind myself that someone may not have written a 3-minute banger about how my hair flows to the wind, but that I kind of deserve these. And I am tired of waiting for someone to give me the love that I could give to myself. And I believe by doing small things like that, I'm learning to make things right. So I highly recommend doing this. In fact, I highly recommend doing everything that's on my list at this very moment, because trying out little ways to make yourself happy is always going to be a win. If it doesn't make you happy, at least you have experience. But if it does make you happy, then you have gained a teeny tiny cheat code on adulting. See? Not bad. Take that, adults. Huh. talking about weird things to do again. There's this one thing that I did last week that kind of sounds stupid, but also when I think about it, it just brings me a smile. When I came home from work on Thursday, it started raining. It was a suffocatingly hot day, and I was drained from my shift. And then it started raining. I realized too late that I was wearing a see-through white shirt, one of my favorites, and I stood in the middle of the road in disbelief. The rain was pouring on my hair. My shirt was see-through. I was completely down and I looked like a crazy lady. I was just so over it. I started kind of feeling anger rise up. I started being angry. There's nobody to be angry at. So I started being angry at the rain, and that's when I realized I was getting angry at some clouds. I literally was getting angry at some clouds. How fucking stupid is that? I was getting angry at some clouds, for God's sake. And when I realized that, I laughed. And it's not the cute chuckle that you guys can hear in this podcast, but the unbound, contagious kind of laugh. I had a proper laugh in the middle of the road, looking at the sky, drenched in universe tears in the middle of a sea of umbrellas. And I laughed. I felt so stupid and silly being here, being angry at some dumb fucking clouds, and looking at the rest of the universe like, is this it? Could you please stop? Come on. And I just laughed. I let everything go, and it was like my 1 minute weekly grand epiphany moment. But when I think about it, I chose to change the way that I viewed that day. Simply on that point. On that point only. I could have said it was a very bad day, but I had the best laugh ever because I can sometimes too be dumb, and I still don't know a lot of things. But one of the things that I know is that I do not want to be that kind of person who just gets angry at everything. As I was writing down this episode, I was sitting on my windowsill. I was feeling the air go on my skin. I was drinking tea. I was writing down. I was laughing at my own jokes, and I felt okay. Not in the I am okay kind of description, but on the I am okay. Lately, I have realized that I have eradicated a lot of bad things in my life, or at least I have escaped from a lot of them. But I just sat there in silence, and I was like, There's no screaming, there's no crying, there's no one to fight against, there's no one to fight for. I'm just here. I believe that the best way I could describe myself is as a fighter. I've always had something or someone or something to fight for or against. But I did not know if I would actually like quietness. When you grow up and you're so used to a lot of things, and you discover others, you sometimes need to take a step back and actually assess how you're feeling about it. Like, okay, alright, I get the message. And it's always a bit weird, but I think I'm okay with not having something to fight for or against. In some ways. I am still someone who needs to be driven by something, and fighting is what I do best. And I very much hope I learn how to do that in not only the correct way, but the healthiest way. Like fighting for myself. Like starting dumb new projects and actually get quite a bit of following. Wink wink, you guys. I think some parts of me actually just need to find something to fight for to feel like I exist. And that's probably going to be part of my happiness in the next few years. But I'm okay with that. It's fine. I'm saying all of this to you guys because I believe we can learn a lot from each other. That our inner child in there needs to learn from someone else's inner child. And that even though I cannot recreate your happiness, or you cannot recreate mine, I could learn a great deal from yours. So, this week I encourage you guys to stop thinking you know how to make yourself happy, and to actually try to find a few new things, or at least list them down. And who knows, maybe you might find something that was not there before. You know what? Fuck around and find out. I think that's it for me, guys. And I really hope this recording worked. Please, gods. On that, I wish you have a great day, and see you next week.